So, got a question for you, and I apologize, but the bright lights are shining in my face. So, who here is in the education business? All right, actually had a couple hands, so that's good. Was interesting when Lander and Pete offered up their thing. They didn't even offer up being in the education business. So, one of my bosses told us, what are we doing? We are in higher education. It says education, but what are we really doing? So I'm going to challenge you a little bit. We had an instance where, not an instance, we've got an opportunity where we've got 4 projects coming out of the ground simultaneously within a block and a half. Really, really strange. We've got the Judy Genshaft Honors College, which will be an award-winning, I hope. It's a Tom Main morphosis design project with a local architect, Fleischman Garcia Maslowski. We've got an indoor athletic facility that I think is going to be top-notch. Hopefully our football team follows that on through. A student wellness center, basically a student clinic that is totally student-funded. And to support all of these, we're adding a chiller to our Southeast chiller plant. So we've got all of these coming up out of the ground simultaneously. And somebody said, why don't we just let some of the students tour some of these projects? Like, okay, that's kind of cool. So we said, okay, let's do some construction site tours. That's cool. So we're actually doing 2 tours per semester. One on a Tuesday, one on a Friday, twice a semester, because people take Tuesday, Thursday classes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes. This gives the people opportunity to take either Tuesday or Thursday. So far, we've had over 1,000 students tour these active construction sites over 3 semesters, because that's basically the construction duration for these projects. I don't know about you, but when I was graduating college, that would have been huge for me, just seeing how those things go together. So somebody, if you've heard the concept plussing, okay, that's, what can you do to add on? What can you do to improve the project? So we took a plus to it and said, all right, well, these 3 projects they're kind of about the same size. They've got totally different budgets. They've got totally different programs. So why don't we learned how to do during the pandemic. We learned how to use Teams. So let's just do some online sessions and say, why do these buildings have 3 totally different structural systems? Why do they have totally different mechanical systems, foundation systems? They're all going to be LEED Silver projects. Why are they approaching LEED totally differently? So we said, okay, we'll do 4 sessions. We'll engage the engineers, the architects, the project team, the contractors, and they jumped at the opportunity to share a little bit about the project. They're excited about it. And the thing we tried to do is not make it a time suck for anybody. That's huge, because it could certainly go down the rabbit hole like Jamie was talking. But, have one team member come do 1 session, and they loved it. They all jumped at the opportunity. So then we said, okay, well, what can we do to recognize people that actually came to the construction sites, came to the online sessions. Not only did we do the online sessions, we also, because it's just a click of a button when you remember it, it's a click of a button to record it. So recorded them, posted on YouTube. Now, some of the professors are actually telling the students to go back and look at these sessions to learn about these projects as a part of the class curriculum. So for those people that did listen to all 4 sessions, that did come to 2 construction tours, we gave them a digital badge. The kids love that. All right? So add on that, we're already doing something. We're sharing. We've already got a webcam on the project. We've already got some digital imagery. Why not just share that? So we'll talk about that a little bit. And then one of the contractors said, well, what if we kind of gave an opportunity for the students to actually watch the construction? They can have lunch, sit there in between classes. So they set up a viewing platform. We'll talk about that a little bit. And then that, of course, went into internships. And Jamie mentioned that. It is incredible to be able to connect with the students with an internship, because you get that insight that you don't really get. We're in the facilities world. A lot of us don't really interact with those students on a daily basis. So on the construction sites, again, we've had over 1,000 students tour these construction sites. And tomorrow, while I'm on an airplane, we've got 100 more going through these construction sites. My staff has jumped on the bandwagon. They're really enjoying it. And they're going to break up. And so one whole architecture class, so 65 students from one full year of architecture, plus about another 40 are jumping on tomorrow. Then we've got another session on Friday. Just, again, looking at the Honors College on the far left, indoor football training facility, and then our chiller plant. I mean, how many opportunities do you get to walk through a chiller plant with 2,300-ton chillers and cooling towers? And that's just, I don't know. Sometimes we geek out, but for engineering and architecture students, it's like eyes wide open. I mean, they're walking around with their cameras, taking pictures. It's pretty cool. And then after that, one of the things I learned when we were doing our College of Medicine was that 40% of learning happens if you know you're going to be quizzed or know you're going to be evaluated or assessed after it. So we just do a quick, easy 10-question quiz after the thing. It also validates that they went to the thing, actually learned something. It helps the professors because there's an accountability for the professors that they actually did their homework or listened to the session. And that's how we get the validation of the badge, because we know they took the quizzes. Okay. So we've got webcams. Certainly webcams with the time-lapse video. That's always fun. That's always cool. With the indoor practice facility, that's easy because it goes up quick and it's a lot of fun. But we also use a tool called Open Space. There's another group here called Reconstruct that's actually one of the sponsors. Got to give a plug to them, but it's a very similar tool, but basically it's like I love it because we used to pay for still pictures taken during our project, and it was good because you can see inside the wall, but with this, it's almost like a Google Maps for a construction site. You see the little orange dot, every piece of software has a different color. I couldn't get Open Space to turn it green, but they stuck with the orange color for our friends up the street there. Anyway, but you click on the orange dot and it just takes you to the next jump. You look around, and what we've done is we have our intern go out there, walk the construction site. He puts a 360-degree camera on his head, and we have him walk the construction site once a week. Not any extra time for us. It documents the construction, and we get the benefit of having that after construction. But it's a wonderful tool. And then, so they have a public access that you can't write or notes or anything like that. Give the students public access to it, and they can actually take a view today, go back in the same location a week, go back in the same location another week, and actually see the progression of how buildings are built. Again, something I wish every architecture and engineering student understood as they're graduating. So they're really enjoying it. So then the other thing is, one of the buildings is our honors college. So they've got a unique program. They take an extra 2-hour class every semester, and they develop a series of unique classes. So one year they had all the students in the class were trained as docents at the Tampa Bay Tampa Bay Art Museum. And they used that to actually walk veterans through, talk about the art, and process PTSD. Because a lot of the honors college students are going to end up going into medicine. So also, a lot of the honors college class, I am constantly amazed at how perceptive and sharp they are. But at one point, either when they're a doctor, when they're an engineer, when they're a leader of their company, they're probably going to be involved in a construction project sometime. So there's one of the professors in the honors college is actually trained as an architect. So she said, well, let's do a class on the building. So they actually asked me to come in, help, basically just sit there, ask questions, tell stories during the project, but actually engage with the students during the project. So semester 1, they focused on the design and construction process. And so we did some active exercises in the classroom, walked them through developing the guiding principles for the project. And it was amazing how closely these students came to the actual guiding principles of the project. Through a structural decision making, do we decide to go concrete or steel? We actually took them into the engineering lab and we had them pour 2 extra cylinders. We broke a 7-day cylinder and a 28-day cylinder for concrete. The kids loved that, seeing concrete explode. They loved that. Experiencing, took them through from a landscape architect's view, took them to different places on the campus, and then said, okay, now that you're in this place, how does it make you feel? Look at the landscaping, what does it do? And then we took them through the landscape design of the actual project. So this is what they're doing in this picture is explaining the landscape design for that project. And then we also ran them through an interior shred. We'll see another picture of that very, very quickly. But also, they did a final project. So at the end of the semester, so the first semester, one of the things is they're going to teach future students how to engage in the building, about the building, some of the guiding principles about the building. So one group created a website where you can go in, you can learn about the building. Another group created a game where almost like hooks and ladders. And then this third group down here created a scavenger hunt where you can go to different parts of the building, and there's a piece of a puzzle. And you learn about the part of the building there. You grab a piece of puzzle, and then by the time you get all the way through the scavenger hunt, you've got enough to actually create the puzzle. Incredible ingenuity by these students. So second semester, we focused on sustainability and LEED. Certainly, that is a huge standpoint for the students. We did a lot of the same exercises, but then we had discussion sessions on each of the major portions of LEED, whether it's water and the environment, whether it's sustainable sites, whether it's materials and interiors, all of those major credit areas. And here's the example of the interiors. So we brought in a whole bunch of materials and said, okay, you're going to pick the materials for one particular area of the building, just as a charrette. But here's two examples from two different groups. I don't know. We only gave them green and gold materials, so it was pretty easy. But they really came up with some pretty cool palettes. Pretty neat area. And so the next semester, again, to teach students about LEED and how LEED was done in this building, one group did a snakes and ladders. So you pick up a card, you jump to the blue, you answer the question. If you answer it right, you get to stay there. If not, you jump back. One group did a Jeopardy game. Another group did a kind of a 3D Tetris kind of thing. Again, incredibly ingenuitive, incredibly inventive, but it really engaged them to teach other people about the building. This third semester we're on, again, they're talking about the oral history of the project. So we did, again, a lot of the same things, but the end of this semester, they're putting together a whole presentation interviewing all of the major donors, all the major key members of the project, to just tell about how the project became what it is, some of the unusual things that we encountered, all the way through. So the online sessions, again, we had 12 sessions, 3 semesters, 4 sessions per semester. We talked about one is just an overview of the project. And that's kind of a given, a prerequisite, so that you understand all 4 projects. We talked about the program, talked about the budget, talked about the scope, talked about how the buildings were organized in that, and was actually originally presented by the project managers managing the project. The second one was talked about the geotechnical engineering, because on one project, we've got an incredible opportunity for sinkholes. We've got a 5-story concrete building where the piers, we had 82 piers going down 130 feet into the ground. Immediately across the street, we've got a steel frame building on pretty much spread footings, and we had to reinforce the ground just in one little area, and there was one small anomaly that could have been a sinkhole later on. But explain to them how geotechnical engineering is done, how it's different, and how it can be totally different on each site. And then certainly the indoor practice facility is very, very different. We talked about some of the BIM and technology, point scanning that's actually done on a project. We talked about the different structural systems. Again, poured concrete for one building, structural steel frame for another, pre-engineered metal building for a third. Why were those chosen? What are the benefits and drawbacks? Other technologies used in construction, again, the drones, we use drone. We actually have an in-house thermal program. We've talked about the 3 different mechanical systems. Talked about the building envelopes. Why are the building envelopes different? Talked about acoustical lighting and some of the basic fundamentals of what is good lighting, what is good acoustics, why are they important, how does daylighting play a fact into all that. And then again, since this is a whole nother year since we did the orientation, we had the project architects talk about the projects, what was unique from their aspect. So different from the first project, because they could watch that online, but again, now that we're a year into the project, what's been fun, what's been unique about the project? Talk about project delivery methods. One was design build, one was architect, construction manager, and then there's other opportunities. So why choose one system over another? Again, I wish somebody even explained this to me when I was in school. Again, sustainability and LEED. You can see over on the left the daylighting. You don't even need lights in the indoor practice facility. It's because of the daylighting. It is a wonderful environment. And then we talked about alternate career paths, basically a panel discussion. We talked about it the other day, but architects Start out as an architect, but the guys here, so the lady on the left she's marketing for a contracting company. Guy on the left is an architect working for a contracting company. The guy up there with his hands like this is a civil engineer. Again, now a leader in a contracting company. The one on the bottom right, a mechanical engineer, now heads our energy division for USF. Okay, not your typical mechanical engineer position, but students are going to go through different career paths throughout their industry. And it really came down to, okay, when you get to that point in your life, what are the questions you ask yourself? How do you evaluate where to step next? It was really some incredibly interesting discussions. So we had our group put together a website. All of this is on our website, and if you just Google USF AEC experience, you can see all of this. You can get access to all of that things. And then here's the online badges. Again, we had our graphics group develop the budget, develop the little logo, and then they get a little tag. But again, all you have to do is come to 2 construction site visits, take 4 quizzes, you get a badge. So internships, we've placed 15 internships so far. We've got 3 more people that emailed me this last week looking for internships. And really all it is our contractors and our engineers and our architects are looking for interns, connecting them with our community that's already in place. The other thing that's really kind of neat is one of the honors college students, civil engineer named Angelica, came. She was in one of the honors college classes, really enjoyed the interior design process, that one little class. Okay, she came and worked with us over the summer as an internship and decided to go back and change her whole career path in interior design. I would probably say that had we not done this, she would be on a totally different career path. So, why do this? We've all got a day job, but it really comes down to, are we as facility people promoting student success? And the research has said that the milestones in a student's career come down to basically 4 different times in their career that really changes and makes a huge impact on their career. One is where a faculty member really cared and took an interest in them, or an advisor who really cared and gave them good advice, or an impactful internship experience like Angelica, or just an incredible, extraordinary class experience, something that's unusual. But giving these students an opportunity to engage in something that's a little bit unusual, a little bit more hands-on, gives you an opportunity to change some lives. So this is the viewing platform that Beck actually built out in front of the Honors College. So students go out here, they eat lunch, they hang out in between classes. They're actually talking about the landscape architect design. But Beck has told their project management staff that if you see somebody hanging out here in the viewing platform, go out of your way, just go over there, ask them if you can answer any questions. Okay, actually having the contractors engage the students to say, okay, what is that silver stuff up there? Just simple questions like that, but it really helps the students understand what they're looking at. So again, here we are talking about, I've already got the day job, I've already got too much stuff to do. So start with the easy button. You know, you've got construction sites. Say, hey, Mr. Contractor, would you, after everybody leaves at 3:30, can we just invite people to do a construction tour? Connect with the faculty on your campus and say, hey, why don't you invite some of your students to come out? Because really what you'll do is you will impact some students' lives in a very positive way, in ways that, we're doing all the time anyway. But it's been a lot of fun. So any questions, any answers? Go ahead.
I want you to tell the students that there's a career in facilities management.
We did. I facilitated that position and said, hey, there is a path for you. That's why I had Harry on there, because he's in our energy management group. Jim.
I guess you'll probably take a compliment, but I thought that was a really good program that you put together. I really like that focus on the engagement with the students.
It's been a lot of fun. Anybody else? Thank you all. Thanks for letting me share.